much in the confidence and respect he won from the people. Other wiser, greater, and as good men might not have won this, and then all would have been lost in some of our great crises. But public opinion in Illinois and the wider Union comprised many ideological and cultural strands. Understanding the people meant comprehending pluralism. A common theme in what historians have written about Lincoln is the skill with which he made himself attractive, or at least indispensable, to a broad range of conservative, moderate, and radical elements within, successively, the Whig Party, the antebellum Republican coalition, and the wartime Union. Less well appreciated is his remarkable success in reaching out to what was the most powerful of all the era's subcultures, evangelical Protestantism. Mainstream evangelicals did much to shape the style, substance, and rhetoric of the mass participatory politics that reached their maturity in America at about the same time that Lincoln arrived at his. In antebellum Illinois, as elsewhere, the political fault lines commonly coincided with religious and ethnic ones. Alert to the power of religious opinion, Lincoln fused appeals to Protestant millennialism and Enlightenment rationalism. The orthodox Protestantism, which underpinned the ethical stance of Republicans and much of the wartime Union coalition, and which flourished in New England and its Yankee diaspora, was not Lincoln's religious faith. But he shrewdly harnessed the power of the most politically influential and energetic members of that constituency, both to win the presidency and to rally support behind his national vision and the war's purposes. Half of this study addresses Lincoln's pre-presidential career. The first chapter explores the roots of Lincoln's political ambition, examining his early life, the sources of his ideas, his alienation from the land, his seizing of the opportunities offered by the emerging market economy, and his evolution by 1840 into a leading Illinois Whig. His effectiveness in state politics and his election to the United States Congress, where he served from 1847 to 1849, signaled his political ability, but only hinted at the more serious and morally engaged figure that re-entered politics in 1854 after the repeal of the Missouri Compromise opened the door to slavery's westward expansion into Kansas, Nebraska. Establishing the philosophical sources of that moral engagement demands a discussion of Lincoln's evolving religious views. Chapter 2 examines how during the mid-1850s Lincoln became a chief beneficiary of the swirling public opinion that, acting as the arbiter of political power, destabilized the old parties and opened the door to realignment. Through several seasons of public speaking, Lincoln's steady advocacy of an anti-slavery argument did much to shape public sentiment and to effect the displacement of the Whigs by a broader-based Republican Party that aspired to national power. Within the mix of ideological, ethnic, and religious loyalties amongst Illinois voters, Yankee influence came to preponderate through the decade. In his debates in 1858 with his great rival, United States Senator Stephen A. Douglas, Lincoln earnestly sought to harness anti-slavery religious sensibilities, not only in the Yankee-dominated settlements, but as widely as possible across the state, and showed his grasp of the dynamics of the emergent mass democracy that made America politically unique. 2 years after Lincoln's narrow defeat at Douglas's hands, the power of a crusading party unlocked the door of the presidency. In the interplay of the elements shaping Lincoln's antebellum career, it was the operations of party which did most to bring about his remarkable political ascent in 1860. Chapter 3 shows how his winning the presidential nomination demanded the confidence of a Republican organization whose national leadership had several other names from which to choose. Once Lincoln had been selected, his reaching office was almost completely dependent upon his party's exertions. Party organizations were essential to effective campaigning, their controls over patronage providing the necessary levers of discipline and unity. The chapter examines the posture of a party that